All right. Last time we left off, we were still working on the physics. I did a little bit of work off stream, like 10 minutes maybe, and I kind of got it working. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. But I don't want to go any further off stream. If we show these variables, we don't need score right now. We also we can have friction. But one thing I want to do is I want to be able to max the mouse down time. So I want it so that way after maybe 5 seconds, it doesn't do anything anymore. It caps out at 5. So I think we could probably just end an if statement. An if else statement probably would work. If friction is greater than or equal to 5, or if mouse downtime is greater than or equal to 5, then we want to set it to 5. And then let's see, I want it to cap out at 5. And then you can still hold it down. And then just to be safe, because it's going over, so it's going to 5.1, so we'll just set it to 5 once it reaches 5. As I guess like kind of a failsafe. Okay, you erase if this extra operator, if it's calculating time adds more. So here, I'm just gonna do that. So let's see if it's still lining up with what the actual time is. It seemed like it is. I not set friction. We want to set the mouse down time to 5. So that takes you a decent distance. I feel like that's looking kind of good, chat. We could try a friction of 4.35. Where's our... I guess that would be the same as 0.3, wouldn't it? I'm going to set the friction to 4.3 actually, or 0.3. So I'm curious. Ooh, that's interesting. I do kind of like this more. I like it where it's more slidey, but the problem is maybe it won't be too much of a problem. That's probably going to be a problem. I think we can fix that though by having this. By just making a direction variable and setting it equal to that value before. Hold on. I want it to be for this sprite only. Okay. And then whenever we start, we can just set direction to direction. But we also have to use that. So now it should just, let's do a big one. Maybe we could have it be 0.15. Don't want to be able to go. That. I wanted to launch you less. Maybe make this 0.005. I don't know if it allows things that small. And then instead of 0.1, we could have it like that. I hope this isn't. Let's see how far 0.5 takes us. I think that's. Also, real quick, I noticed that it's firing the bullet. So we can just switch the order. That way it looks like the bullet's launching us backwards. I think that's pretty good. I meant to change this to 0.75. Hold on. Let me retest the physics now. Also, that might have to be point. There we go. Okay. Hold on. I feel like that might be too little movement though. Make this 7 and make this 0.01. Hold on. Let's make this 0.1 and then make this 0.07. Okay. But then also, it's just about finding the sweet spot. I want to add screen shake, so let's do this. And this can be background, and we can have it be like this. That's probably good enough. We can have it be radial gradient. And then we can have this be and this can be a placeholder background. And then we can have it forever. If mouse down, then we also want this to go to the back layer. And instead of random position, we're going to have it go to X. There's a random. We need a more dynamic background than just this. It's kind of hard to tell. I guess because the background is not really important. And then we can use the variable mouse down time. Right? That should work. and then we can have it go back to 0, 0 when that's over, right? Do we need a forever? We do need it. Probably an if else, actually. Maybe some of these I should be making functions. I wonder if they just have like they probably have it in here. Perfect. I mean, that's what the asset library is here for, right? And I think it'll look better as a brick wall for now. I mean, I think that's almost starting to look like an actual game. I'm trying to think of what to do next. How far do I want to take this? I have some ideas of what I want to do, but um, I'm not really sure. I want to be able to have it so that way whenever you hit the corner, you can have like tileable things. It can be tileable. But honestly, this is kind of just fun to play around in right now. This is almost like a devlog. I think what we should do, what might help, is because the movement of this character. No, because what I was gonna do before is I was gonna have it be scrollable, so that way the background's moving and there's tiles and it's scrolling. If you like understand what I mean. But maybe that would be a little difficult. So what I could do instead is I could just have it so that way, very common you see is oops. If you like touch a wall, so like for example, if you go and you touch the wall, then it takes you to another section. It teleports, it wraps around. Kind of like that. That could be something I could do. If I was gonna do it the scrolling, then I probably would have to start a new project with simpler stuff. But I think having it tileable is gonna be easier. And then also I don't have to deal with like whenever I add like other entities and their like stuff for when they go off screen. That seems a little complicated, especially considering I'm just starting out. Let's just have it so that way you go like when you go off screen. There's games like that, you know what I mean. So I guess we should start by drawing a foreground if it's gonna have our boundaries. So I'm gonna have it be like this. We're gonna have this. I want it to be we can just have it be a 3x3 grid for now. So we can call this middle. And then we can do this. Let's have this be 0, 0. I'm thinking. Okay, that's too complicated. We'll just manually place them, I guess. This can be middle. And then we'll do top, middle. Is that how you spell middle? That is how you spell middle. How queer. And this can be bottom, middle, where we just yeah, these don't have to be pretty. And this can be middle, middle, just so that way there's no confusion. Middle left, middle left. This can be middle right, because we're only making a 3x3. There might be honesty is probably a better way to do this, but I don't really care that much. This one is going to be the middle and left one. So this is going to be top, left. And then I'm super lazy, so we're just going to do this. And then this can be top right. We'll just bring that over there, and so that way we keep the integrity. Fuck off. I hate that thing. Bottom. Right. This seems like it's going to be super easy to code, but or not super easy, but fairly easy to code, but a little bit tedious if I want to make it larger. Bottom right, so we're going to delete that one. All right. So let's start with adding collision to this thing. If touching edge, or if touching the foreground. You give me up. I feel like I just did something. I did do something not good. So I don't think we need on the if on edge. We can keep the if on edge bounce. Yeah. But we need a if touching. And then hold on, edit. Does that? I do. Okay, does that? Okay, yeah, that's not what I want to do. If it's touching the foreground, then change X and change Y. Then we want to repeat this until it's not touching foreground. And then change Y by cosine and X is by sine. We don't need the -1 because it's already. And if we want it touching the foreground, then we can reset the friction back down to 0. That's not pleasant. Because if we're backing into a wall. Yeah, because it gets sucked in. Oh. So that's almost really good though. Um, I might have a workaround that's kind of. I have a workaround. It's the arrow that's the problem. We can just have the arrow be separate from the player, which is probably good anyway, because then we can set it to the. Forever go to the player and point in direction. Point towards mouse pointer. And we want foreground to just when flag clips go to the front layer. Yeah, let's. And unintentionally, that kind of made this really cool effect. And also, let's make this visible. This is a little too intense. Let's make it -1. That looks pretty good. Good enough to eat almost. I have an idea. We could add a little bar. I want to add a little bar. Just a cute little bar. Go to player. Go to. If the mouse down is, we hide it. If, where is it? Mouse down. We need an if else. Mouse down, hide, and then otherwise, or show, then otherwise it's going to be hidden. Why is it doing that? Bar 1. If only I had like something to make sure that these are all evenly spaced properly. Honestly, okay. Yeah, it's not that important from this far. We want to make this more and decrease the saturation. Make it more pastel. The middle one will be yellow. Let's just for now we just decrease the saturation. I think you know exactly what we're doing, guys. You know, beyond just a visual indicator.
Call Matthew and see if he wants to meet us here or there, and tell him we're gonna go to the store to get snacks. So if
Okay.
he wants anything.
Let's do this real quick.